Today's project is a redo of an existing project. It's been, as you know, we intentionally attached this camera using balance, and you can see that they work pretty good, but the wire's really fiddly. It's really lousy. So I want to redo this. You can see the wire just broke off. Oops. And I just unplugged it. So let me see how we're going to fix this. So here we have the wire that our camera was using. Okay. And I got a couple different pieces. But we're going to start with these. I have two of them because, well, so let me show you what we're going to do with this. Okay. Now, I chose these kind of jacks because of the fact that the jacks are pretty simple to use. Oh, my screwdriver. Put it on the table. Yeah, there it is. And unfortunately, I don't have any way of making sure my microphone's working. So we're going to try to fix this. And this comes with these little self-adhesive pads. We're going to use that for another reason. Let's take a look inside here. Now, the first thing you're going to notice with these jacks, is just like the originals, they're not using your standard Ethernet cables. So, because of that reason, we have to make sure. I want to test everything before I hook up the power lines because I don't want to blow anything up. Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, now I want my wires to be about, well, I would say about 16 centimeters would be fine. I don't see why I need to go longer than that. I could, I guess. But I want to be careful to not go too long because otherwise I might mess up the impedance. Because we're not using it with the proper impedance. This is just standard flex lead. So I'm gonna need 3 pieces of it. Okay. I'm gonna need one more thing. Okay. And that's a marker, because you're going to want to mark the 3 cable pieces for this job, because obviously you got electrical power and you don't want to have send, say, 12 volts DC into the, okay, so here I got my 3 pieces of lead. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my marker, because we're going to need that. Marker, because I forgot I put it in a special place because it's such an expensive marker. It's a Sharpie, but it's the biggest one each. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna label this. So this is gonna go to view, okay? That's because that's the viewfinder, okay? And the other one is going to be labeled from camera, just so I know it's what here. Okay, and then we got power, which is 12 volts DC. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, D, C. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to do now is I've got to hook these to the terminals. And we're going to take these connectors off. See, now, if you look at this piece here on this camera originally, you can see what I did originally. And this turned out, this is much more stocky than what I'm seeing with these connectors, which are break city. Okay, so we're going to take these 2 wires out first, and I'm going to loosen these up. Hopefully the sound doesn't cut out on me, because my microphone is making internet connection, so, okay, so this is going to go from camera, okay, so, now if I hear anybody whine about the fact that this may potentially be the wrong impedance, I'm going to point out as that's obviously clear. Okay. I think I need to strip a little more than that. I think I'm not using Legos here. Okay. This is going to be the connectors go on here. Okay. So now these connectors, like I've told you once before, these have polarities on them, plus and minus, or as I call piumino. Okay, so you gotta get the polarities right. Now, I used to use negative for minus, or the one with the ridge. Okay, you can feel the ridge on this flex lead. It's or zip cord, which you call it whatever you want. It's called by a lot of different names. And take a screwdriver. I'm gonna hold this in place. Yeah, you know, the impedance might be a little off, and I apologize for that, but I can't really help that because, like I said, the problem with the normal Category 5 cables, as I said, it's like really like tinsel. It's because the actual conductors inside are usually very thin wires. Sometimes they're just steel. There's copper-clad steel, or aluminium, which is also a very common material. And I don't want to deal with either one. So let me see these wires are tight. Okay, so that's on. Okay. Now for this side here. Okay, now the screws. I'm going to hook up the the power supply one last because of the fact that the power supply lines are my new lightning pliers are very sharp. They'll actually cut. Oops. As you can see, cut through these wires like butter. So that's one reason I gotta be careful with this. I'm not quite used to these pliers yet. I'll get used to them, but it's going to take a while. Okay, so now the reason why we're going to use these leads is because of the fact that you kind of want a shorter one anyway because it's impedance matching. Okay, now, like I said, you got to keep the colors the same as this. So, if you know your color codes by heart, you know a lot more than the average person does, okay? It's going to be the equivalent of your weight. It's going to go in the screw like this. This battery's jack is rated for Category 5, and I agree with you. If you're going to say what I think you're going to say, it's not improper. Yes, it is. But you know what? You're in a fixed income, and there's nobody that sells the real deals in my town. That means Category 5 Keystone. But you know what? I don't think a Category 5 Keystone would have worked for me anyway. Because First of all, the problem with the Category 5 keystone jack is the same as with these little balances. They're very small wires and they will break. Okay? Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So here we have this. Oh, that one's not really under the screw. Well, so let me do that one again. Cable. You know, I have my personal doubts with the wonderful longevity of Category 5 cable, to be honest with you, because it seems like light wiring that we use in this country is really shitty. Okay, so now we gotta deal with the next issue. The green. Now let me make sure I get this right because this is important. Okay, so let's get the next piece right. That would be this piece here. This says to viewfinder. Okay. We're gonna hook the power up. I'm gonna hook up the power last because I don't want to blow my camera sky high if it's hooked up wrong. Actually, this camera has what I call a redemption thingy. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, now the funny thing is, you see this wire here? You got white, green, and then you got the regular, and then green, whites right here. But you see that this labeled colors are white and blue. Okay, now white or yellow and black. That's because they're using the old school telephone company colors for this, so it gets really confusing. But if you keep things organized, it's pretty simple. It's actually designed for a DIY person, so they're not going to use necessarily the Category 5 colors. There is a, I think this has a Rosetta Stone on the back. Huh. Yeah, it does. Orange stripe, okay. Okay, the orange stripe, orange solid is the blue wire. Let's see. Put me says, why didn't you use the standard? Okay, so now wait. Orange stripe. Okay. Orange solid is orange. Orange stripe is blue. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I got it. Okay. Oh, okay. So, I got it backwards, looks like. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with wiring. Okay, and that says orange solid is orange. Which one's the orange? Okay. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. I got on the wrong screws. Okay. So, let's fix that. I got it on the wrong screws. Okay. Okay, now I gotta fix this wires I got on the wrong screws over here. I told you this gets confusing. They're using two different color systems on these wires. Okay, so this is the blue. You can barely see it. This is the blue right here. It's dark blue, and then there's a white. And it's orange. Okay, so feel the ridge. This is gonna go here. Okay. Can I test this properly? Yes, I can. Okay. So where was I? Oh yes. The biggest problem I have with category 5 cable and 6 cable is it's so thin and it's hard to work with. So, yeah, it's really not my favorite stuff to deal with. It's like trying to deal with tinsel. Tinsel is another type of wire which is used in foam work, which is something I'm glad I don't see as much of it anymore. I do see it still on occasion for old telephone repair, but it's not the most common. Okay, so now, I might need to adjust these wires some more, but I'm boring you to tears with this, Demolina. Yeah, I am. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure I get this straight. I don't want to potentially blow my camera sky high. Okay. Yeah, this is getting to be a little bit fiddly. Fiddly, I don't like these wires. Okay. So you can see why I'm glad I did not choose to use a standard, ever so popular 110 punch down connectors. They would have been a real nightmare to work with. Because the problem is, the 110 cable cannot fit on these connectors. I mean, these wires are too fat for a 110 punch down. So if you put a 110 punch down on this, what's going to happen is the wire is going to be like really too thin. So what I'm going to do is, let me go ahead and I'll stop the tape for the time being. I can finish working on this, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. It's ready. Now, let me explain what I did. And yes, I did view it through my viewfinder, and it works fine. I haven't checked it through the computer yet. What I do was, let me unplug this so you can see it. This might get a little confusing otherwise. Is we have our cables, okay? And they come out here. And the longer one is the viewfinder. It just ended up being longer. Sorry. The 12 volts DC feed is right here. And from the camera is right here. And they're connected to the appropriate terminals on this side. Now, using this patch cable, plugs in to there. I have a longer cable, by the way. This is going to be a shorter one. Okay. Viewfinder. I know this is ugly. It's not electrical tape, you know. I really should redo this wire. Okay. But anyway, for the time being, it's as good as any. So then the viewfinder's right here. At first, I thought I potentially blew up something. But that's why I spent so much time checking the polarity. Looks like I might need to adjust some terminals on this side, because it looks like this is not really as making good as solid connection as I'd like. Okay. Well, it is, but it's okay. So this camera can run on 24 volts AC. I did find inside the voltage regulators and the bridge rectifier. So yes, it does support 24 volts. However, I tend to find it kind of awkward, considering the fact is that most of these inexpensive cameras don't support 24 volts AC. Besides that, you're talking about Chinese connectors, and we know that China tends to use those shortcuts, and I looked at the wiring inside, and I didn't see anything that I'd call bragging rights as far as connectors go. So, I'm going to just tell you right now what I think, which is, okay. So, just like before, the ridge is meaning minus. Now, that gets confusing because on some of these, people are using the ridge to mean positive. I'm wiring it by American Electrical Standard Code, and that's pretty much the way it's wired in mobile and travel trailers, just like I said. So, your typical caravan in the U.S. is wired that way, for even for DC circuits. After all, I blew a furnace out when I accidentally wired it backwards on a 12-volt line, so you may not like the wiring, you may not think it's really right, but, well, that's the way it is, and that's the way it's got to go. So I'm going to try to keep... Okay. I'm going to take these wire screws down really, really good to make sure they're really snug. Okay. So check the ridge. Yep. Minus. Plus. Okay. And then of course this plugs in to here. And what happens is like I said, is the camera is now working. It is now quite accessible as a handheld piece of gear. And you can actually, now as far as all this electrical tape goop, I wanted to get rid of it, but, well, it's not going to happen, because of the fact that, you got other things it's protecting as well. Though this connector here is for, isn't being used. I could probably stuff this underneath here. This is just used for hooking up a second video source. I don't need that. So there we go. Make sure not to rip it off. So here you go. And now I have that big long cord. I can plug this in, and now I can take this out on the porch, and I'm going to be buying another one of these viewfinders as well, because this is going to be a great viewfinder for other applications as well. But I'm really kind of happy the way this came out. It's not perfect. It still looks a little bit kind of cheap, but it does work, and that's the idea of what I was trying to do. And now I can use a cord of any length, any size, any color. Not that the color really matters, but I did a video on this earlier, and the TSM noise on my phone was making it kind of hard to hear. Plus, of course, it was kind of far away. So I wanted to show you close up what this is. Now, the funny thing is, these are using old school colors from the 60s and 70s on this terminal blocks. Okay, you got your red and your green, your black and yellow is a standard. Okay, your white, brown, brown, white here, which is got their own funny color codes. And of course the same thing here with the white, orange, and orange, white, which is using blue and red, or orange. So now what they do is they go to the appropriate balance for, this is the one for power, this is the one for video out to from camera, this is going video in, or video out to viewfinder. And you can use, like I said, you can use any standard category 5 cable with this. So I'm going to plug this in, just a couple of you can see what's happening here. The nice thing about this cable design versus the more standard ones is it's much more durable than the stock ones. The stock ones, let's be honest, the wires are crap, okay? Now, so I got a 14-foot patch cable. It's got a standard category 5E connector on it. Put this down for a second. And if you, it's kind of, my phone is kind of topsy-turvy anyway. But you can see, oops. Okay, maybe you can't see that well because I'm just kind of through it in colors to show you this picture here. I really gotta have to fix that so it's more balanced. But okay, anyway, the picture itself is very much within code. I don't see anything seriously wrong with it, other than the fact that camera's kind of lopsided. That's a completely different problem. I'm gonna have to fix that eventually. But for right now, I want to get this thing set up so I can get a picture in it, so I can test it. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I have to figure a way to hold this in place. And now I mentioned the pads. These things. Well, one of the things I could do is place said pad underneath the viewfinder, but that's not going to really fix the camera being kind of top heavy. I might just make it a little bit less noticeable, but it's still going to be top heavy. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus shot on it, something over there, and then I'm going to go check the color settings and stuff in the other room. And likewise, with this other end of this, where the original white cord plugging in, we got a matching box on the other side. It's more of a traditional category 5 connector, same kind of box, except this is category 5E cable going into it like you would normally expect, and that's it. So there you go, something simple. Now, thanks to this, I can take the camera outside on a tripod, put it on the porch, and we can watch TV. Or do videos, at least, anyway. Okay? Well, that way, I'm going to see how it works. I think it's going to work pretty good. Alright, guys. Talk to you later. Okay? Bye-bye.